Call the member for Newtown.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker, and I'd like to also thank the member for Sydney for bringing this priority motion to the attention of the House, and it's very encouraging to see a brief moment of unity across the House on this issue of working towards marriage equality, celebrating love in our communities and ending discrimination in our laws. Clearly, marriage equality is a very important issue, and I note the member for Coogie's contribution that says, I think that it's pretty clear that the community has moved on. The community perhaps was never actually opposed to this celebration of marriage between two consenting adults that chose to celebrate their love. And the idea that we saw back in the dark days, an amendment that chose to exclude certain people from celebrating their love in the form of marriage within our laws is a really, really dark and sad period in our history, and hopefully it is a period that we can look back on and say that that period is now over, because we can celebrate love in our communities and we can recognise that all people can have their relationships recognised in the Marriage Act. And it is my hope that we see that soon. I think Sarah Hanson-Young, the Greens senator, said that she'd like a lot of spring marriages in the air, and I think that we're all hoping that what we see is something coming sooner rather than later when it comes to marriage equality. And I recognise the politics of this situation and the reason why we're here talking about a motion that's talking for a free vote, and to recognise and call on a respectful debate. And I'd just like to touch briefly on both of those. The first to say that when it comes to the Greens, we don't need a free vote because in our case it's an issue of equality. And when it comes to equality, we say that every MP, every vote, every time will vote for equality and against discrimination, and it is our responsibility as representatives of the people to actually have a principled position to say that we should not be entrenching discrimination in our laws, but rather we should be removing discrimination from our laws. And that we need to consider the damage that can do when we put discrimination into our laws for those individuals that suffer intolerance and suffer abuse within our community, and the message that we send when we have discrimination in our laws to the schoolyards, to the rural and regional communities, to the other isolated areas of our community that may not be so tolerant when we say that discrimination is okay in our laws. The other thing that I'd like to touch on is that we've seen that members in this place have been able to change their position. We've seen the immaculate conversion of the Leader of the Opposition when it came to marriage equality earlier this year. We have seen shifts and changes in those views, and they should be encouraged. Those views should be encouraged and changed, and I hope that we see in a very short period of time that our federal parliamentary colleagues change their views, support marriage equality and stand up for love in our society. Thank you.